crafters, I have another project for you tonight, and what that is Christmas crackers. Now some of you may be familiar with the Christmas crackers and know why they're used and who usually uses them. I grew up, my mother was from Scotland, so every Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, depending upon when we were eating at home, she always bought Christmas crackers for our table on the holidays, and usually they were sent to her from our family, and then now we can get them in the States. So what I wanted to do is to show you how to make these small, simple ones, and these can be adjusted for larger sizes. Now, the ones that we usually had were probably about 10 inches, where these ones are just 6 inch, well, really being folded in, they're about 5.5 inches. So they're not too big, but I just wanted them as cute party favors for the table for Christmas Eve. And you can buy the supplies for these items. Now in the States here, where I got mine off of Amazon, the different items for the crackers. So there is the cracker stick that will go into the middle, and they give you quite a long stick so that you can just, put this into the middle, and you're going to tape the ends down, and then it'll pop or pull from the center item. And then, of course, everybody, you have to get your crown and wear your crown throughout dinner on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I've gotten one of those, and those actually came with my cracker strip. And then this is what they call the miracle fish. It's a fortune-telling fish, and you're supposed to take the fish and lay it on your hand, and if the head moves up, or if the head just moves, it means that it indicates that you have some jealousy. The moving tail means that you are somewhat indifferent. Moving the head and tail means you're in love. And curling sides means you're fickle. And turns over means that you are false, motionless, or a dead one. It means that you're a dead one because you have no heat in your hand. Curls up entirely means you're a very passionate person. So, of course, I don't believe in any of this, but it's just kind of a funny kind of game. Oh, I didn't realize these were open on the ends. Didn't remember that. So they're just these red fish. I'm almost scared to put it on my hand. What happens? Oh, my head's going up. There we go. You see the head going up? Moving head means that I'm jealous. Not quite sure what I'd be jealous of, but so I'm putting those in the crackers. The other thing that we usually put into a cracker is some kind of other little toy or treat. These aren't so big, so there's not really much room to put much in there, but I think I'm going to put just a chapstick in there, and if this hole is too big in there, I'm going to, I'll just put some, a small piece of tissue paper in the inside to hold it in so it doesn't come out. And the other thing is that they usually have some kind of joke or something that's inside the Christmas cracker, and it's kind of one of those jokes that you go, they're usually kind of really bad or dumb jokes, but of course they're fun to share around the table. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to make the fourth cracker with you to show you how to make it with that pattern, and then I'll just get the ribbons on. We'll also put this cracker piece into ours, and then this one I just wanted to show you too is that you can do more to these. I put some bells on this one just to show you where you can tie it around. I've also seen where they put the name tags for the table can be put right onto the crackers, and yeah, so let's go ahead and we can get cracking on our next cracker. So it's very, very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of cardstock, and I took one 12 by 12 sheet and I cut it, each one of these 6 by 6. So I got 4 out of one 12 by 12 sheet. And then one of the things you want to be careful of is that if this is a pattern paper, you want to make sure that the direction that you're going is sitting in the right direction. Like this is a pattern paper this way. The way that I remember that for myself is that the scoring for the ends of these crackers have like 3 scores in them. So wherever I know I have to do the 3 scores, which will end at the top of here, because we're going to start by doing the regular scoring across here, then I know that my paper is going the right way. So in order for those additional scores to be done, for the top of or bottom of the cracker, this has to be facing this way. So we're going to start out by making the shape of the cracker. And so again, 6 by 6. And our first score line is going to be 1 3/8. Going down on that, and then 2 3/4. And then 4 1/8. And then 5 1/2. And what you need for that is because this is what's going to join our cracker together. Now, then we were this way, 6 inch this way. Now we're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to go 6 inches on this side. So on this side and this side, we want to score each side. The first score is at 1, and the second score is at 2. I'm going to turn it all the way around, and I'm going to do 1 score at 1, 1 score at 2. Now, as you can see that there's a little bit of a hump, in here where we're going to cut so that this can literally go in. What we're going to do is we are just going to turn this all the way over, and we're going to do scoring on this side. So the next score that I'm going to do on this end is 1 1/2. And then I'm just turning it all the way around like I did before. And I'm going to go at 1 1/2. And that is our scoring. So what I like to do to begin with is I'd like to go ahead and start doing my folding on all my score lines so that I'm set for the end of the process itself. So I'm doing all the score lines for the up and down of the Christmas cracker. Now, one of the things that I would suggest, because I hadn't thought about this ahead of time and I should have, is that be careful with the cardstock that you use. This is a Cartabella cardstock, and this is the Country Christmas, I think it is, or Farmhouse Christmas. It's one from this year. But it's a Cartabella paper, and it is very, very stiff. And that's probably not the best paper to use when you're trying to pull a cracker apart. So this is a good time to use one that isn't quite so sturdy. The only thing that I may go back and do at the end of this is maybe make my punches between the holes a little bit more open, and I'll show you that once we get to punching. So we've got this side all folded. Now I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do this first score line, and then I'm going to score the third score line, and then this one in the middle between the 1 inch and the 2 inch, this was the 1 1/2, I'm going to burnish this backwards. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that I get what we call mini album makers, the hill and the valley. So that's what we want out of that. So if I turn this around, I'm going to burnish on my 1 inch score line, and then I'm going to burnish on my 2 inch score line. And then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to burnish on my 1.5 inch score line. And that is all the scoring that we need to do. So what we're going to do next is you're going to get your envelope punch board. And if you do not have an envelope punch board, you can still do this by cutting by hand, by cutting in the same spots that we're going to cut in. So what I'm going to do is start out and fold my 1/2 inch piece to the back, and I am going to line up to, oops, I gotta open that, to my envelope punch board to the center, and so that the edge of my paper is at the 1/2 inch mark here on the other side. Plus I want to watch that this end piece is pointing to my 1 inch score line. And when I do that, then I want to come along and just punch in my envelope punch board. I gotta pull that closer, otherwise I can't punch very well. So then I'm gonna take it out and I'm going to fold on the next scoring, run that in there at the 1/2 inch, my pointing to my score line, and I'm just going to punch that hole in there. Going to go down and I'm going to do the same thing, 1/2 inch to my score line and punch. And then we're all the way to the other side almost. And then we actually are going to even punch on this side as well. We're only going to get 1/2 of a punch, but that's necessary for when we put it together. Now, if you are going to be cutting these by hand, which you absolutely can do, you just have to go to the back, and you can see there's the 1 inch score line and the 2 inch score line, and all you would have to do is cut in a V shape in each one of these sections. And when I talked about making this thinner, I may come back and do more of a angled cut in these to make them a little bit easier to pull apart. I hope that makes sense to you. So now we're going to go ahead and punch on this side, and I'm going to actually turn this over because I want to be able to still do this where I see the 1/2 inch mark. So we started on this side with the 1/2 inch score line, but I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to go punch on that, and then I'm going to oh my goodness. Oh, goodness. I didn't have my spinach today. And make sure that that's all even in there. I find that it actually is easier if I stand up, but because I'm recording, I'm sitting down, so it's taking a little bit more pressure. Okay, and then we're going to punch on here. So then with that done, that's all of it done that we need to use the punch board for. And again, you can cut these. You don't have to have the punch board. It just makes it easier. So then we're going to put this together, and what I'm going to do is just to flip this over and flip this side so that it's, so I can put glue on here. And one of the things that I love best about this is that because it's got even sides to it, it's so easy to pull this over and just bring this over, and it just glues down. I like it when it's simple and I don't have to really worry about matching things up. Always makes it nice and simple. So then this is the way our design is going. Our back of our cracker, where are you again? This is the edge of our cracker. So I'm going to turn this as my my side up, or the side that the bows are going to show on. But before I do that, what I want to do is take my cracker and put this into the cracker, and I'm going to do that with using a little piece of score tape. And I'm using score tape because it's a little bit more permanent, or faster probably, than using glue. Now, this is the first year I've done this, so one of the things that I'm going to check out is I'm not going to pull that score tape off of the other side, or glue it down, or tape it down, until I get all the ribbons tied, because I want to make sure in case this goes smaller, you know, or the tape. I just don't want the cracker hanging out the other end. So I've got that in this side, and then I'm going to cut this off right at the edge. One of the things that in pulling the crackers, everybody looks for where that cracker is in here so that you can get a good hold on pulling those crackers. So we've got that in, and then our next step is to go ahead and tie our ribbons, or it doesn't have to be a ribbon. It could be twine. It could be you know, something that's a little bit of a thinner twine, doubled or tripled up. Really, you can use anything that you have that you can use. So, entirely up to you. So I'm just going to tie that down. And then, because my ribbon is actually one-sided, I want to try, if I can, to get my right side out of my bow. So I twist that around a little bit as I'm tying, and so that all of it's standing out there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie this side. And this I took about just a little bit over 12 inches of ribbon. And you might not even really need that much. It kind of depends upon how big you want the bows to be, and how good you are at tying and all that stuff. So I'm going to tie that like this. I've been trying to teach myself how to do a ribbon tie for a card. And I've done it okay on some occasions, but I thought to myself, I can't tie a bow like that in front of anyone because it just doesn't work out well for me. I'm just learning still to make them small and cute. So pull that around, and I'm not going to play with that too much, but then I would just even go ahead and take and trim off some of that ribbon. You know, a lot of times you've seen me put fray check on the ends of the ribbons. I'm not going to do that for this type of ribbon for the purpose of what this is. If it was meant to be something more long-term, I probably would do it. So now that we've got that all done, and by this time you should have put the toys and the things inside, because once this stretches out again, it sorry if I'm out of frame. You don't want to pull on that cracker, because it actually is a little bit shorter. So I would wait to fasten down the other end of the cracker, and you can really wait for both of them to the very, to the end after you tie your ribbons and bows and everything. I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time. Oh, it's there. Okay, so now I'm going to put this other end into here, and I'm just going to cut that off. There we go. And those ends can just go in the garbage. And then you can go ahead and, I like the idea of adding the little bells in there. I thought that that was cute. And you usually can get bells pretty inexpensively at the, at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something like that. So here we go. We have 4 of the crackers for evening to set on the table. Or the other thing that you can do is these can also be a gift. So what I have for you tomorrow evening, or not tomorrow evening, but by tomorrow, I'm going to be putting up a video on how to make a gift box to put these 6x6 or 5.5x6 crackers into a see-through box that you can tie and wrap. So that'll be coming tomorrow. But for now, these are our crackers, and I will talk with you later. Have a Merry Christmas.